what I do. This month we're talking about love. We are talking about love in lots of different ways, but today we're talking about undefended love. So love is something we all want, yes? Yes, yes. Love is something we all need. Babies that don't get loved don't thrive. Children that don't get love grow up at a disadvantage that sometimes shows up as a lack of self-confidence, a lack of self-love, a lack of an ability to really be all of who they are. We all need love. And in our teaching, we know that love is one of the qualities of God. I mean, God has all sorts of amazing qualities, and we can call it God, we can call it Spirit, we can call it whatever we want. But one of the qualities of God is love. That's where it came from. That's what we are made of. There is not a cell, a muscle, an organ, a system in your body that does not contain the very DNA of the divine, which is love. It is what we are. It is what we have come here to be and what we have come here to express. I mean, don't you love the feeling of not only being loved, but of having that energy move through you? I mean, when you think about it, think about somebody that is really open to your love and that you can just love them and they soak it in. Maybe it's a lover, maybe it's a child or a baby, but somebody that can really let in your love. Think about how it feels. Feel it when you get to love like that. And of course, we all love being loved. So think about a time when you have been loved by someone that was so all-encompassing. Maybe for you it's divine love. Maybe it's the love of a parent. Maybe it's the love of a spouse or a partner. Maybe it's the love of a child, a grandchild. Think about, feel what it's like to be loved. So when we think about how good it feels to love and how good it feels to be loved, why on earth would any of us defend against love? Why would we block it out? Block the love that goes out and block the love that comes in? Why would we do that? Well, for many of us, most of us, life has happened. We've had some experiences where we learned that maybe it wasn't quite so safe. Maybe we had parents that wouldn't or couldn't love us the way we wanted to be loved. Maybe we even had parents or others that loved us a great deal, but that showed it in ways that were painful for us. And so we learned not to let it in hopes that we would be able to protect ourselves. And maybe you've loved someone that couldn't or didn't accept your love. Someone that put up their blocks, that wouldn't let that love in, and that hurts. And if that happens, when that happens, because it happens to most of us at one time or another, some of us can shut down our hearts, start to close our hearts in hopes that we will never be hurt again. And we may, I have known some people that have, we may defend against love going in and coming out because we don't think we deserve it. But that is a whole other talk. Don't have time for this here. I'm sure all of us have experienced someone that couldn't let it in because they thought they didn't deserve it. So with thoughts and experiences and feelings like that, we may have learned to defend against love. We may have built up some barriers to letting love in, or we may have set up some barriers to letting the love flow through us that wants to in all different ways. For it's allowing that love to flow through that we get to become who we truly are. So undefended love is not being afraid or hesitant to let love out. And undefended love is not being afraid or hesitant to let love in, to let it right into the core of who we are. And of course here I'm not talking about just romantic love. There are so many more kinds of love than that. The Greeks broke love down into a number of different ways. They talked about eros, of course, which is the passion, which is the sexuality, which is the lust, which is just that intense emotional love that by itself, if it doesn't move into any other kind of love or have any other kind of love along with it, usually doesn't last very long. But boy, it's hot while it's there. It's hot while it's there. And then the Greeks talked about storge, S-T-O-R-G-E, which is a family and friendship kind of love. That's the kind of love where you accept these people because you love them, and you kind of overlook their faults, and we get to learn to forgive them because they're part of our family, they're part of our friends. And so there's that forgiveness, there's that flow, and yet there's an even greater love than that available for all of us, and that is agape love. And agape love can be mixed in with any of these other kinds of love. Agape love is unconditional love that accepts people for who they are, warts and all, faults, knowing that love can be, in a sense, an impersonal thing. In a sense, it can be as if, it's the love that we all want to feel, I think, or most of us want to feel for all of humanity. To be able to remember the oneness, to be able to remember that we are all made of this God stuff, we are all on this path of love, we are all doing the best we can with what we have to work with. It's the kind of love that makes it so that even though you don't like somebody, you can choose to love them. And that love is shown to individuals and to the world in our actions, in how we treat other people, in how we serve those who need to be served. It's the type of love that is chosen, that we have to think about and choose, because it may not come real naturally to love all of the people that we would like to have surrounded by love. This is the kind of love that arises naturally when we remember our oneness. This is the kind of love that arises naturally when we remember that we are all connected. It's a namaste kind of love. The Godness in me greets the Godness in you. The Godness in me honors the Godness in you. No matter who you are, no matter what religion you do or don't practice, no matter who you love, no matter what your political beliefs, it is that kind of love that can recognize the divinity and the connection with every person. Agape love is the kind of love that makes our hearts break open when things happen like the tragedy in Las Vegas. It's the kind of love that makes our hearts go out to the people who are affected by the hurricanes and floods and other natural disasters that we seem to hear all too much about. Agape love is just that amazing, amazing love that we can show, that we can get from everybody. And agape love is all kinds of love, also show up as encouragement and support and safety. And I had an experience of that this week. One of the things that Mary and I did while we were out of town is that we were at a ministers' conference, an annual ministers' conference where lots of things happen. It's inspiring, and we get to meet with other people and talk with other ministers about you. And then you know what they did? It's a wonderful, wonderful time. But one of the things that we did at this gathering, and it was in North Carolina, in Asheville, the church, at the center of John and Barbara Waterhouse, and who are leaders in the Center for Spiritual Living movement. And one of the things that we did was a fire walk. You know, that thing where you walk across hot coals and your feet don't get burned? I mean, does that sound crazy or what? Well, that's what I was thinking. But one of the things that we learned is that a reason for wasting good firewood is that there are spiritual lessons in this. Now, of course, we know that there are spiritual lessons in almost anything. Okay, anything, if we really look. But some amazing spiritual lessons in that. And you may hear more about some of the lessons from the fire walk in future messages. But today, what I want to talk about is the importance of letting love and support in. The importance of just accepting the love that comes from not only the divine within us, but the people around us. And one of the lessons is that how with faith, trust, and the love of support and of those around us, we can do anything, even walk on fire. So there was quite a process of preparing for the fire walk. I mean, you don't just come in from, walking off the street and from looking at the news and then head out and start walking on fire. If you try to, well, I wouldn't try to do that. So there's a process that we went through, and there were, I think, about 100 of us that prepared for the fire walk, because it was explained to us that you're going to get a lot out of this whether you walk or not. Because what's important is that you soak in the love, that you allow yourself to give out the love, and that you listen to your inner guidance as to whether or not it's appropriate for you to walk on those hot coals. So I committed to the preparation, okay? I was not convinced at all that I was going to be walking on those hot coals, but I committed to the preparation, knowing that I wanted to open my heart as much as possible, and knowing that I wanted to support all of my ministerial peers that were there and their spouses or partners. So our preparation included building the fire. We were each given a piece of wood, and then all of the wood was smudged and blessed, and they directed us exactly how to make this fire, because these people have a lot of experience. They've done it a lot of times, and if we started to build the fire wrong, they would let us know. No, that can't be crooked. So we spread our wood out in a particular pattern, about 8 feet long, And then they put hay in it and they lit it, and of course there's blessings all over all of this. I should certainly hope so. And then while the fire burned, and there were wonderful fire tenders, while the fire burned, we went back inside and made these little prayer pouches so that we could enter this experience completely prayed up and completely open to all of the love that was around us and there for us. And then as we walked out to the fire, we started singing "There's Only Love," the chorus to the song that Parks sang. There's only love. There's only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. And there were, I'd say, about 100 of us, maybe more. We sang that the whole time we were out there, surrounding each person in love. The coals had been raked into this nice red area, and then we were invited to listen within, to take in the love, and to see if it was ours to walk on the fire. But we kept singing "There's Only Love" over and over and over, and the love was palpable. You could feel it in the air. You could breathe it in. But then there were some people that when they stepped up to the fire, we knew they were really scared, really anxious, not sure if they could do it at all. And at those times, the love seemed to just crank up. I mean, it's like I didn't think there could be any more love, but there was the love and the support as people made their journey across the hot coals. So I could feel the love, and I consciously opened up to it. It's like, okay, I don't know if this is mine to do, but I'm open to love, for sure, and I'm open to Spirit telling me what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And so as I opened to love, I remembered that, okay, I can open a little bit, or I can open more, or I can open wide open. And that's the way it is with God's love. We can open to a thimbleful. We can open to a bowlful. We can open to a bucketful. Or we can turn the hose on and soak up all of the love of the divine that just keeps flowing to us. Just keeps flowing to us. Emma Curtis Hopkins, one of Ernest Holmes' teachers, said this: "Whoever gets in the state of overflowing, unquenchable love is manifesting the Christ. That part within us that is connected to all, that is the light, that is the spark." She goes on to say about those who get in the state of overflowing, unquenchable love. She sees no evil and rejoices at everything that occurs. She is a perfect creation of the living God and reflects the universe of good. And so, while others sang "There is only love," and while they held me in love and support, I heard this little voice that said, "I can do that. Why not?" I mean, it wasn't a big, "Oh, you have been blessed, you can walk across the coals." It's, I can do that. Why not? And so as they held me in prayer and in love, I walked across the coals, 8 feet. And, you know, once I got across, I mean, before I started, it was kind of scary. But once I got across, it was like, well, that wasn't such a big deal. That, you know, did that fire get cold? You know, because it didn't even, I didn't even get a kiss, which is what they call a blister. You know, what kind of kiss is that? Hello. But what I did, what was a big deal, was the love. the love that surrounded me, the love that encouraged me, the love that supported me. That was a big deal. And so there was no need for us to defend against love. There's no need for us to resist the love that flows in us and through us and as us. For love is our very nature. It has come here. It is what we have come here to do and be and express. Love. Love can lift us up above the fires of the flames of life, but only if we open to it, only if we are willing to accept it and to be it and to share it. So it helps to have faith to walk through the fires of life, because it is done unto us as we believe. That's what we teach. If we know that we are supported and can do anything, even walk on fire, then we can. We can. But we're also upheld by the faith and belief of others. Now, if there's an area of your life that you would like to be upheld and supported, you can come up for prayer at the end of service. You can fill out a prayer request. You can contact one of our practitioners whose names and contact information is listed on the bulletin or in the newsletter. Because if there's something that you want upheld, this is the community to do that. We support each other. We uphold each other. And our practitioners are an amazing, amazing way to take advantage of that. So I'm going to close with a reading by Reverend Wendy Craig Purcell. This is a reading that I found in the Science of Mind magazine, which is a great inspirational magazine from last month. So breathe and just let this in. Today, let mine be the hands that help without question or hesitation. Today, let mine be the ears that listen without judgment or prejudice. Today, let mine be the voice that speaks truth to power. Today, let mine be a presence in which all feel safe, welcome, and accepted. Today, let mine be the heart that loves without conditions. Let mine be the heart that loves without conditions. And so as practitioners stand with me in high consciousness, we'll take that into prayer. There's only love. Only love. Love that heals. Love that sets us free. There's only love. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, because that is what the universe is made of. This infinite intelligence, this godness, this spirit, this life that is the very essence of love. Oh, we can choose whatever part we want from this infinite godness. We don't have to take the love. We don't have to take the joy, but it is here for us. And so what I claim for each person here is that our hearts are open. Our hearts are open to take in the love and support, the encouragement, to take in all that we need to move forth into our greatest yet to be. For there is a power that is ours to use. Because we are one with the divine, all that God is and all that it has is ours to call upon and use. It is ours to speak our word of truth, to speak truth to power. And so the power is ours. I claim it for myself and for each one hearing my voice. Knowing that there is in our path ahead of us, ahead of each one of us, just whatever is needed to remind us that there's love here for us. To fill our paths with whatever is needed for us, to take that in, to tear down the blocks, to tear down the walls, to let love in, to let love out. And so I claim that this just shows up for each of us in delightful ways this week. Ways that allow us to share love. Ways that allow us to feel it, to be it. Love, undefended love. For that is what we have come here to be. And so in great gratitude that this is going to show up for each one of us as we move into our week. For great gratitude for the part of God that takes our words, our knowing, and turns it into our reality. I am just so grateful. And in my gratitude, I know that I can just let this go, knowing that it has already been moved into action, that it is already having all of the connections that need to be made, so that this can bless our lives and flow out to bless the lives of others. And so in this gratitude and letting go, I invite you to say with me, and so it is.